The armed robbery of an Australian Paralympian in Rio has sparked security fears just weeks from the start of the Olympic Games. Gold medalist Liesl Tesch was forced to the ground by two gunmen during a hold-up in an area previously considered to be safe for athletes. Australian officials are now working to ensure the safety of Olympic and Paralympic teams can be guaranteed ahead of the Games. Anne Barker reports.
Liesl Tesch has had more than her share of misadventures in sport. It was a mountain bike accident at 19 that left her an incomplete paraplegic, but it also set her on the path to a gold career as a Paralympian. But her latest ordeal has left her shaken and scared for her safety.
When a man's got a gun at you, you can have whatever you want because you obviously want it more than I need it. Pretty scary.
Tesch and her physiotherapist were robbed at gunpoint in Rio as they rode bikes back from a training session in an area they'd been told was safe.
The guy in front of me had a gun, and so he said dinero, which I understand means money. So I just lifted up my shirt and I obviously had no money. Then he said something else. I don't know what he said, but then he just pushed me in the shoulder. He held the gun up, he pushed me in the shoulder, and I just toppled onto the ground because I've got some wobbly legs. And at the same time, the guy behind me, without the guns, was wrestling Sarah's bicycle away from her, and the two of them just rode off into the park.
The Paralympian has warned her teammates to take extra care in the lead-up to the Games.
I think maybe our security protocols will be stepped up, but definitely, when it becomes real, it's like, wow, this is not a statistic in this city, this is a reality. You can't be too careful here.
Australian officials are now doing all they can to ensure security is adequate in Rio and that athletes exercise every care. The team's chef de mission, Kate McLaughlin, says she's been in contact with the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Australian Federal Police.
Their safety and security is absolutely paramount to us, and to make sure our plans are in place and we're reducing that risk of happening again.
But this latest incident only compounds the rising fears about security ahead of the Olympics. In May, two members of the Spanish sailing team and their coach were assaulted in broad daylight in Rio by 5 people armed with pistols. And just last night, a group of heavily armed men stormed a hospital in Rio to free a suspected drug trafficker. It sparked a shootout with police that left one patient dead and a policeman and nurse wounded.
Muito tiro. A
lot of gunshots and an explosion, said one ambulance medic. The ambulance was shaking. It's the same hospital recommended for travellers to the Games. Early this year, in fact, a new report included 22 Brazilian cities on a list of the 50 murder capitals of the world, among them Rio de Janeiro. Brazilian authorities have begun security drills to prepare for the Games opening ceremony, but Felipe Cesas from the Brazilian Federal Police has no illusions about the challenge. It's a very complex operation because of the high numbers involved, he says. We expect 11,000 athletes, 10,000 members of the Olympic family, 8,000 sponsors. The Director of Security for the Australian Olympic team, Greg Nance, believes Rio is a safe city to compete in, providing proper precautions are taken.
They're common sense things like only being in groups of 3 or more, not wearing flashy clothes, avoiding certain areas of Rio, particularly at night time, but still being able to enjoy Rio.
Australia is sending at least 400 athletes to Rio.
Anne Barker reporting.